How's it going, everyone? This is Imperium Magistrate, and today we are going to be reacting and debunking a video by Simple History on King Leopold II's Congo Free State. This is a topic that's interests me, and it's one that really annoys me because the claims made in it are quite frankly absurd, and when you look at the evidence, it's clear that the claims are simply untrue. So, a bit of background. In 1885, King Leopold II had made his claim on a large chunk of land in Central Africa, which would become known as the Congo Free State. Today, it is the country of Zaire or the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, much like many other European countries, they have looked back on their colonial empires with a more skeptical and cynical look on them, believing that the expansion was morally wrong. And for Leopold specifically, he has taken quite a bit of a beating in terms of his historical reputation. During his lifetime, the Congo Free State was accused of mass torture and mutilation. And the scandal was so big that he was eventually forced to give away his Congo territory to the Belgian government in 1905. It just tarnished his reputation. And the sort of crusade against Leopold would sort of be revived near the 21st century with the book The Ghost of King Leopold by Adam Hochschild, which was published in 1999. And the book makes the claim that Leopold was single-handedly responsible for the death of over 10 million Africans in the Congo Free State, along with the infamous claim that he had ordered limb mutilation. And that's, for the most part, what this video makes the claim. Now, are the claims true, and is there evidence to back it up? Simply put, I don't think so, and we will be giving the evidence as to why I believe this video is misinformed. So, let's get into it.
Named it the Congo Free State, which is rather ironic when you realize what went on there. The local population was anything but free. In order to acquire the Congo, in 1879, the king sent Henry Morton Stanley to survey the Congo River Basin area. He was a journalist and an explorer who, like the king, saw great economic possibilities in Africa. Under the guise of the king's holding company, which laughingly was devoted to free trade and the suppression of the slave trade, he established trading outposts along the navigable river, along with fortified military posts, built roads and bridges, and made treaties with over 500 Congolese chieftains. In return for putting their marks on the mysterious pieces of paper, the chiefs unwittingly accepted the flag of the Congo Association and only received cheap trinkets, bags of salt, and lengths of cloth for their trouble.
So the first problem I have with this video is how they depict the relation and the treaties between the Belgians and the Congolese, implying that the Congolese were simply tricked into giving away all their land. This is, of course, a vast oversimplification and a way to pin all the blame on the Europeans and none of the blame on the Africans. The reality is that many African kingdoms actually aided in the colonial expansion, as they were provided with weapons or tools to strengthen their own kingdoms and their own tribes. And for the most part, this is how the Congo Free State functionally operated. Belgium did not have great infrastructure in the Congo, obviously. They were just setting up a new state. As such, they heavily relied on African kingdoms and tribes to provide protection from outside forces. The only area of the Congo Free State that they functionally controlled was the area near the Congo River Basin for rubber extraction. While perhaps it is true some tribes were tricked into signing away their land for nothing, this was not the norm. And in fact, the Congo Free State pretty much existed solely because of the treaties and alliances with various African nations. I also gotta say, this claim does come off as a bit racist since it simply implies that these African leaders were too ignorant to realize what they were getting themselves into.
Although Leopold had used the activities of Arab slave traders to justify becoming involved in the Congo, he completely ignored the fact that slavery was banned and illegal. By the final decade of the 19th century, John Boyd Dunlop's 1887 invention of inflatable rubber bicycle inner tubes and the popularity of the automobile dramatically increased global demand for rubber. Therefore, this rubber boom became a godsend for the king. He had accumulated a great number of debts due to his investments in the Congo and needed to make this whole enterprise profitable. Because harvesting rubber from a tree was faster and easier than from a vine, output could be increased and therefore more profit made. To make sure that the extraction of rubber from the rubber trees would be maximized, he created a labor policy and practically enslaved the natives. This policy is known by critics as the Red Rubber System, in reference to the African blood that was shed during this period. Methods included robbing the natives of their livestock and grain supplies, attacking them, and then taking their women and children as hostages. If the required quota of rubber was presented by the chieftain of the district, then the women and children were sold back to their families. They had to pay a couple of goats apiece for them.
Next, Simple History makes the claim that the Africans were enslaved in mass. Once again, this claim is simply untrue. In 1904, because of the claims against the Congo committing crimes against humanity, there was a commission established by the Belgian Parliament, Italy, and Switzerland to investigate these atrocities. And they compiled a 125-page report. And you can actually find this online. It's a bit difficult because it's in French. However, the report is extremely telling of what actually happened in the Congo. While it is true there was forced labor enacted, the reality is that the Belgian government was supposed to pay them for their services. And in fact, they even regulated that an African could not work more than 40 hours per month. While the report does confirm that yes, there was some corruption, this was obviously against state policy, and that the intended purpose was to pay the African laborers a fair wage for collection of rubber.
As if the beatings and abductions weren't bad enough, the soldiers of the Force Publique also used to cut off the right hands of the natives as punishment if they refused to work or didn't meet their impossible work quotas. Some managed to survive this mutilation, but many died, mostly when gangrene set in and the wound became infected. If they killed a native by shooting them, then the soldiers were made to cut off the right hand of their victim to show that a bullet hadn't been wasted, as the ammunition was imported from Europe and was expensive to buy, and the soldiers would often try and use their issued bullets to hunt the wildlife for sport.
Now we get to the real meat of the bone in this video, and that is the claims of limb mutilation as punishment. The report once again goes into investigating why these mutilations were happening, and it came with the extremely abrupt conclusion. The Belgian officers had nothing to do with it. No Belgian officers ordered any type of punishment via limb mutilation. The reality is that this was an African tradition for those who would collect limbs as a sort of trophy to signify their victory over someone. I also find it interesting that in every video about the Congo, they always gloss over the fact that the public force, the Congo militia, was comprised entirely of Africans. There were just under 300 Belgian officers, many of which were simply administrators and bureaucrats. So the main force of the army were Africans, and they were carrying out these atrocities. And this report shows that it wasn't even at the orders of their officers. It was them being rogue agents. And yet they want to pin the blame on King Leopold, despite never actually having been to the Congo or having put out any of these orders.
Edmond Dane Morel, one of the important figures who exposed the atrocities to the world, said that the Congo Free State consisted of 20 million people before King Leopold II came on the scene. Mark Twain, a prominent writer who also condemned what happened in the Congo, mentioned a number of 10 million deaths. So approximately half the population was wiped out during this period. The exact number of deaths as a result of Leopold's atrocities in the Congo is unknown, but it's definitely in the millions.
And now we get to the final claim of the video, that being that Leopold II is responsible for the death of 10 million individuals in the Congo, a number comparable to the Holocaust. Now, let's put aside the fact that there is no evidence that the Congo had over 20 million people. There simply isn't a lot of census data, and it just seems unlikely that the Congo, which was a densely packed jungle, would have that many people there. Let's just look at the logistics of what it would take to reach that number. The public force was only about 12,000 men. that would mean one soldier would have to kill 830 people. And since it's over a period of 20 years, that would mean 1,000 people would have to die each day to reach that number. It just simply doesn't seem logical or possible. This was not a highly trained militia. This was a quickly thrown together, basically military police. And it just seems extremely implausible in a region where they have little functional control and no infrastructure that they could simply mow down that many people in a single day. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Did you learn something new, and have you changed your opinion on King Leopold II? If you did, leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.